Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us, and welcome to Firing Range, a podcast to talk about all things Destiny weapons, abilities, loadouts, even the sandbox at large, how English is my first language, and how the Book of Boba is the single worst show ever right now. Starring. Just trying to get you to perk up.
I haven't seen anything past the first episode, so
I haven't watched any of it at all.
Is it bad that I thought you were talking about milk tea and not Star
Me
Wars?
too.
Now that would be a show that I would love to watch.
How do we have no Star Wars fans in this podcast?
I'm a Star Wars fan. Nobody cares about
bro.
Boba Fett. It's such an afterthought character.
You're throwing down the gauntlet right now. I see.
A little bit.
He said the book's 4 pages.
For the live stream. You guys
It's a
get
great
to
hoodie.
see-
I do love it.
This is the only time I've not worn a tank top on any recording of
That is
Firing
true.
Range.
That is true.
Rocking something special.
I feel uncomfortable. Like I'm not in my element that you don't have your tank top on.
You can't see the guns, so it's like,
They're
feels
hidden
weird.
from me.
Feels wrong.
It feels wrong.
They're still there.
So
They're
many
just covered
ways.
up.
Fair enough. Yeah, we have everybody on the show tonight, which is pretty great. I think for the past episode or two, we've been scattered, one gun, something like that. I don't know. But we're all here. Everybody's looking good. Cool guy's got a barbecue shirt on. Grill Master Cool Guy. It's looking fresh, dude. Looking very fresh. The people at listening, they can't hear, but they can imagine the glory of you holding up the text on that shirt. Wonderful. Anyway, thank you for joining us. We were supposed to go live last week, I think, but we were kind of waiting because we thought there might be a doozy of a twab. And they did drop an interesting twab. It wasn't everything I was hoping it would be. Was it good to you? Was it good for you? Or were you just like, it's not bad. It's informative. It's whatever, right?
Answer is about the same.
Yeah. Real quick, we could cover the highlights, I guess. I did a live read with Cool Guy, but hey, still worth to touch on if you haven't checked it out yet.
We had the one from the previous week, right, with the no blues.
Was that one? No, I think we missed that one. Did we?
Yeah, that's what I mean. We missed that one.
Yeah, that was the one that we missed. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the highlight from last week.
Was that the biggest highlight for you, Cammy?
It was, but they didn't fully remove all blues. It was just after Crucible games.
Right. Wasn't it that if you're above the soft cap or at the soft cap, you no longer will be weighed down by blues, right?
It was something like that. All I know is I tuned out the second it said it wasn't like fully removing blues or instant dismantling. I was like, okay, it's a start.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I can't stand. For those of my friends here who stream at any point during the week, do you often get irritated by every time you go to the tower and you open up your Postmaster or anything and people are like, oh, your Postmaster makes me want to throw up? It's like, dude, I've been playing for 10 minutes. Like, this is what happens when you play the game. You play like 3 games of PvP and you just drown in garbage loot at the Postmaster. Like, is this not everyone's experience? Am I unique?
I don't even kill ads anymore. Like I throw healing grenades at dregs. Just I don't let my teammates kill them. Don't drop blues.
You know, I've always wanted 2 like side stories for Destiny season. So one's gonna be the Red Jacks, and the other's gonna be Caddy, the Postmaster.
Isn't it Katie? Is it Caddy?
Never
heard anyone say her name out loud. I always thought it was Katie.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Anyway, that'd be an interesting little subplot
Postmaster
there.
has a name.
Cammy just walks up. Give me what's mine. Get out of my face, you stupid robot.
It's like, oh, can't help but notice your stack of. Yep, that's 2 full stacks of enhancement prisms. They're gone. Due to blues filling your Postmaster.
Ooh, so sorry. You were holding shards for the next season? Yeah. My bad. My bad.
I'll have to ask you to come in on a Saturday.
I just have a lot of shit. I have like, I don't know, maybe like 150 things in my vault and like nothing in the Postmaster on any characters.
You have 150 things in your vault.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot
What
of
do you
that's
have
just,
in
like,
your
random
vault?
Psychopath.
I have
Yeah, you're crazy.
like I probably have like 70 weapons of various types that I've kept for various reasons. And then I probably have like 70 pieces of exotic armor that have dropped that I'm like, ooh, that roll might be useful for a build later on. And I don't really feel like doing the math on it. So I just put it in the vault. And then I systematically, like once a season, I go through and I delete like almost as much as I can. So,
You know, anything high stat, even if it's like, say it's like a 59 overall, 60, but it has like 25 strength, like I just throw it in the vault, man. Because there's been so many times, especially this season, where I've gone to D2 armor picker and wanted a build that involves strength or something, and all these weird but low armor pieces come into play, but it's like the only piece I would have needed to make the build happen. So I've been keeping a lot of weird armor like that, like high discipline.
If it has less than 63, I just dismantle it without even looking at it. I don't even care what it is.
I don't
So,
do that.
yeah. I'm not into those like I don't
Niche.
know. I'm more of like I will just keep like 6 pieces in each slot. So I like keep 6 pieces of armor and 6 weapons in each slot. And anything that goes over that, I stick it into the vault. And then if I'm like trying to do a specific level of something, I just go look at what I have. And like I'm not like, oh no, something was 25 strength and I threw it away. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, fuck it. Like if I have something that makes it work, I have something that makes it work. If I don't, then I don't really care. So I've managed to get like, pretty okay stat splits on all my stuff doing that. So I've never really felt the need to just like hoard stuff. Plus, it would literally drive me insane. Like I'm the type of person who if I have a single red like dot on my phone anywhere for any notification, will like actively go through and hunt down. Like today I had like 2 emails that were
Wow.
unread. Fucking nearly the apocalypse. It was horrible. Can't do that. So
The thought of going under 400 in my vault makes me want to throw up like violently.
I'll have less at the end of the season too, because I'll do my seasonal cleaning before Witch Queen, and I'll probably
Why do
delete
you?
about
But
half
you
the
have
stuff.
you have room for 300 plus things in your vault. Why do you need to clean up any more?
Yeah, but it's such a pain in the ass, like having multiple pages of stuff to look at, that I'd much rather just like have everything on one page, and then I don't have to scroll back.
You know that Twitter meme of like a brand new apartment with just like a console in there and a TV, and they're
Rate
like,
my
yeah.
setup.
men are really
There you
okay with
go.
this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's Merc's vault right now.
That's perfect, man. If I go into the vault and there's 6 things in there, I'm like, this is heaven. There's so much space, to spread out, but
So much room for activities.
we don't want to use it, but the space is there.
But like, they covered in this week at Bungie, and one of the reasons why like I kind of hoard armor here, like I almost have like for each one, I have a couple solar, a couple stasis, a couple, and they're changing it to where you can easily for 10,000 glimmer change the element from one to the next. Like that's huge for someone like me. It just depends on how you play, right? And then I'm kind of a collector too. Like I have a hush bow in there. I haven't used it in like a year, but I have like 1,500 PvP kills. It has a nice counter on it. I don't want to get rid of it. So I mean, we all store weapons for different reasons and gear.
Drew, weigh in here. Is he crazy? Is he not crazy? How full is your vault right now?
I don't think mine's too full. I think I have 350 occupied spots. But like, I don't know, 350 to 400, I think. I try and regularly clean it. The majority of my armor, or majority of my vaults, like, I don't know, weapons I just won't let go of because they're like absolute god rolls, and even if I won't touch them, I just like to look at them.
Yeah, like an
Or
Austringer.
keys, like, yeah, like
Good man.
I don't use it anymore, but I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
The thing's pretty sweet, and you
yeah.
can't get it anymore.
You earn that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Exactly.
keep things that I can't earn
I know
anymore.
life for that. That's a token of the time. That's my NFT of the time. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Other than that, it's just armor for my hunter. Other classes have a little bit of armor too, but I don't really care about them.
That's true.
It's just like armor for my hunter, like so that anytime I want to make a build, I pretty much just have the build I want right there. But yeah, Merc. I feel like Merc's like ideally what I'd want, where I'd want to be at. It's just like not possible for me. So like, I don't think he's that crazy, but like, it's just not possible for me.
I agree.
It doesn't spark joy, man. If it doesn't spark joy, you got to get rid of it, right? Like,
With my postmaster here, I'm like at 542 of 500. So
But
And I
what
heard-
happens, Merc? What happens when Bungie's like, "Oh, we have a huge sandbox tweak," and out of nowhere, like this random archetype of weapon, bam, that's the new hotness now. And you look through and you're like, "Oh, I got none in the vault."
well, I
Deleted
always
them
have
all.
some of them all. That's why I have 70 weapons. I have 1 to 2 rolls of every archetype, at any given time. So, I generally what I do is I'll keep 1 to 2 of the best rolls that I have of each archetype, so that if a balance change were to come, I can go grab that roll and
Got it.
immediately start
Okay.
using it, right? But I don't keep like there's probably only 2 to 3 guns that I have more than 3 copies of. Like one of them is Glacioclasm
Yeah.
because I like to remind myself that I failed horribly to get the roll that I wanted. So I keep all of my rolls that were nowhere close, but were like the closest I got. And
Sure.
then I think I have a couple of Shira's Wraths because I haven't really devoted myself to the SMG yet, but I have a feeling that SMGs are going to become more meta in the future. So I'm just waiting for a Chappie nerf, and as soon as that happens, I think SMG usage is going to go up. So I'm holding on to a couple of them because I want to see
Yeah.
what's best in usage.
SMGs are great. I love it. I should have listened to Drew way early. Drew was really early on that multi-mock train. I think he was one of the first people I watched. Debatably. Then again, I don't watch too many people, but I did watch Drew on that multi-mock train early. And yeah, sick weapon. I pretty much only use that or the Shira if I'm doing an SMG. Pretty much any other SMG can go kick rocks.
Terabot's pretty great, dude.
Yeah, Teraba's good. That's my wild card. Like, I'll go wild card Teraba. Usually in 6s, but in like 3v3, I'll go Shira or multi-mock.
And if all else fails, I heard the Datto has a vault cleaning service, so I might have to get with him on that.
But how full is Datto's vault?
It was pretty full. I looked at it. Yeah.
Well, what type of fucking vault cleaning service is that then? I mean, you guys need me to come out and clean your vaults because I'll get rid of some stuff. Like, I'll go through
He's
that
like,
vault.
oof.
I would
Yeah.
never. You're the last guy I would want to clean my vault.
That's too many
Yeah,
hand cannons
'cause
you
you
got in
know
there,
the
cool
last
guy.
guy.
I'll clean it because
You'll
I'll
clean it good, yeah. But like
every
you'll
hand
clean
cannon
it
and
too good.
shotgun gone, just completely gone.
Woof.
You would delete my swashbuckler bow. You'd be like, Lemon Arc exists. No.
See, here's what you
There
want.
go.
I like to
Yeah.
put Monarch on all 3 of my characters, says Merc. That way, anytime I switch to a new character, I don't have to open Dim to get out the Monarch.
That's not actually true. I only use the Monarch on the Hunter. I have different cheesy builds
okay.
that I use.
Alright.
The other 2 characters, so.
Fair.
How do we
fair.
feel about Charged with Light? Those orbs? Because I was thinking about Monarch. You're like, yeah, at least you're gonna have the helmet, so you make that Monarch make orbs everywhere.
Oh, have
Yeah.
we not talked
It'll
about
work
that
out better
big
for
change?
me. It'll work out better for me. I mean, I don't personally like the change. I don't think we know the full story of what all is going to happen. Like, I'm sure, you saw what Kevin Yanez retweeted where someone said, I think it was maybe QJ said, like, I bet this counted as a perk. I bet orb generation as part of a masterwork counted as a perk, and then
Right.
fun. So, we don't know the full story. And that being said, I'm not a huge fan of the change, but personally for me with the Monarch, it will work out way better because I get double kills with the Monarch all the time, and I don't generate an orb off of it now. And if I do in the future, and I'm charged with light, and I can one shot, then I can basically keep generating orbs. You know what I'm saying? Like I can get the train going. So I don't like the change, but for me personally, it'll be better.
Yeah, I mean, people were not happy about the change when it was announced. And to be fair, we don't know. Bungie kind of heavily alluded that there's more coming. It's like, oh, this is only part 1 of the story,
Yeah, the drip feed, man, with certain things when our especially some of our main foundational things are changed. Man, I hate the drip feed on them, dude.
I don't like it. Yeah. It's like I think they're trying to make sure that there's a consistent flow of like every TWAB between now and the Witch Queen. They want to give us something. So like if there's like a dry TWAB, it's like, well, we'll give them part 1 of that
Right.
2-part story. Then it's like, oh, don't be doing that because we can't like. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to ponder.
Yep.
the information. I can't ponder with my orb if I only have half the information from a Bungie TWAB. But yeah, more to come on that. Anyway, also in that last week TWAB, which we're still lightly touching on, they commented on we're gonna get those Hawkmoon and DMT random rolls from Xur. I thought that was a pretty cool change. Do we all have rolls on that we're like happy with? Are anyone here still chasing Hawkmoon
Still
DMT
chasing
roll?
some Hawkmoons. I thought I was done, but then I realized that having 100 recoil direction on Hawkmoon feels
a thing.
really good.
It's a thing.
Interesting.
I have a nice high cal subsistence DMT that I like, and I'm a console player. I see the value of Vorpal, and it's one of those. I've missed a couple weeks, but yeah, I'll try to get my try. But I also look at it now that is it going to be set rolls from Xur or is it going to be random?
That we don't know. I would
Okay.
imagine. I think they wait. Didn't they say
random.
random? It's random, right?
random.
It's
Yeah,
random.
no, it's
Okay,
random. Okay,
yeah.
we're good.
So I mean, it's a heavy price to pay for some of those weapons, and people listening, I do encourage you if you don't have exactly what you want or close. Let me take that back. Close to what you want, I would just find a bud or
Yeah.
LFG it and just get them done. I mean, we're at the end of a tail end of a season, and it's going to have a heavy price later.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
still a couple of Hawk Moons that I want to get. I've enjoyed Killing Wind. I've enjoyed a couple of them. The Eye of the Storm one a lot. But yeah, I do want to get the Hunter Recoil one with some good perks at the end of it. So yeah, I don't mind that they did that. I kind of wish that like the Presage, some of those missions, I think are some of Destiny's core content. That if you were to get a new player into the game, it's like, dude, you got to play Presage. Like that's what Destiny's all about, and now it's going away. So
Bro, you can't even get a new player into it. I tried. The new light that I like onboarded a few weeks back, I was trying to get them into it and you can't. Like there's
Yeah.
as far as I know, there's no way to purchase that season anymore independently. And I mean, we looked in the store, we tried a bunch of different stuff, and Twitter said that the only way that you could get it was by buying the Beyond Light Deluxe Edition. And we didn't even see that offered for sale anymore on Xbox. So like we couldn't even get them to play it at all, which sucked.
Yeah, by the way, last time we recorded the show, if I remember correctly, we briefly talked about the very odd New Light player experience. And a lot of people gave a lot of feedback on Twitter and Twitch regarding their New Light player experience. So hopefully some of that information, I know Bungie tunes in and out of podcasts. I don't expect everyone at Bungie to listen to every podcast every week, but I'm sure and hopeful that some of that feedback was trickling back, because I think there's been a lot of feedback lately about the New Light experience not being super good.
Real quick, and I saw it in the
Yeah.
Twitch chat. It's like, the Vorpal DMT, you only face supers like once or whatever a match. But dude,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
let's
true.
think here. No. I mean, we're about to have Anti-Barrier Scout next season, and the cranial, it's a kinetic Vorpal with cranial spike. Like, it's going to be a player
It'll
in
be
PvE.
valuable for PvE for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be
Vorpal
a
got that.
player.
It's a 20% Vorpal in
Yeah,
PvE now, right? Which is
20% with cranial
pretty tight.
spike.
Hey now. Big old hey now. Sorry, I was reading Twitch chat about your shirt. Someone says, I'll gift a sub right now. Classic. Something I want to really quickly touch on. Probably something that doesn't need to be touched on. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it anyway. The power level changes.
It's great.
I don't know about y'all. I saw some takes on late Twitter that I did not agree with. I thought that, and this is not like, name names, bro. Now we ain't like, come on. Like I'm friends with these people. Like it's possible to have a friend who you respect who has a take that you don't agree with. And there were also people who I didn't know on Twitter at all with their takes. Like, oh, it's like, what did we play for, man? It was all for nothing. It's like, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Like, I feel that having new players enter the game is like vital to the longevity and the success of like any game. Like if you cut off the new player, the support to new players coming into the game or whatever, or if you make the bar really high, like your game's gonna suffer a lot. You're pretty much gonna shoot the game in the foot. So TLDR, some people on Twitter were complaining about the fact that, moving into Witch Queen, we're all going to be brought up to the new power floor of 1350, even if you haven't played in like 2 years, whatever. And then, but it's the same thing. We go through this every year. Like, there's a new floor. You got to go to the soft cap, then the power cap, then the pinnacle cap, right? So, like, what the hell is the problem? Like, what are we complaining about here? Like, do you feel like this is Bungie, quote, over catering to new players? Because to me, that would be like if Bungie went, hey, look, here's an offer. If you're a new player to D2, you make a brand new account. We give you Gallarhorn 2.0. Not even the Gallarhorn right now. It's a better Gallarhorn. Double Wolfpack rounds. And you can only get that gun if you're a new player. Then if people were like, hey, what the F? That sounds awful. Like, I'm a veteran. Why would you give that to... That would be catering to new players. I don't feel like this is catering to anybody. This is all boats are rising with the tide here. Am I crazy?
Well, I have some complaints, Fallout.
Do tell, Cammy.
They should just do flat difficulty so I don't have to grind. So the opposite complaint.
Opposite.
I say give them more. Give them more power. Like, give them max right off the rip. Don't even let them grind.
I mean, I think there's a world where both are possibilities, right? Like, I like the idea of power level existing so that people can take content, not the highest level content, but like take
Understood.
content that would normally be more difficult for them, and through working at the game, make it a little bit easier, right? Now, like, I'm not saying you should be able to over level like Grandmaster Nightfalls or something, or like legendary raids, but like the mid level Nightfalls, right? Like, I don't think there's any harm to taking someone who's maybe not the best at PvE and saying, hey, if you grind your light level up, you can do these mid level Nightfalls a little bit easier, right? Like, nobody's bragging about how many mid level Nightfalls they've done. That's just like a bonus incentive. Well, you might, but no normal people are bragging.
Okay, fair, yeah.
So I think that there's a world for it. I mean, honestly, that was a shit take on Twitter. I know the way you're talking about. I think probably everybody saw it. It really made the rounds on the community. It was a pretty shit take, right? Like, this game is better when more people play and when player retention is high, right? Like, a decision that just gets people in the door and then those people leave isn't the best decision. You have to also have retention, but raising the light level up, like, nobody is throwing down the controller like, oh, I freaking quit this game because you raised the light level up.
Yeah.
But a bunch of people who hadn't played in a while may look at it and be like, oh, cool, like, we can all start on even footing. Like, I'm going to pick Witch Queen up. So I don't see how it's a bad call at all.
It doesn't even make sense logistically with the sunset or vaulting of content and whatnot. Like, what are they going to do? Play through all of Beyond Light, then play through the next campaign all the way up to now, and then do the pinnacle grind and power grind on top of it?
Yeah, it's insane. Like, I don't feel that as a veteran player that my experience has been devalued. I still have I did a ton of great shit in Season 15. I have a lot of loot from Season 15 that a new or returning player won't necessarily have. They don't have the god rolls that I grinded out with Cool Guy in the dungeon. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have the stuff and the emblems or any of that other stuff. So I don't feel like my experience has been devalued or been made garbage.
You gotta
or anything
put yourself
like
in the shoes of the new player, right? Like, it would be like if I complained about the Beyond Light campaign and said, oh, these new players, they have a teleport node now so they can teleport around Europa. No, remove that. That's too nice to them. I had to walk. Back in the day, I had to walk up a mountain to do my Europa
both
mission.
ways in the snow, 10 miles.
Literally in the snow.
Yeah, I just thought that was, and again, it was not just one take. It was many takes that I read, but I thought it was ridiculous. I think it's cool that there are people out there who are like, oh, I haven't played in like a year or two. You're telling me I can just get back in and, like, I don't have to play. You can do catch up if you want to. There are activities that you can go do if you want to, but, like, in terms of being caught up with the story and, you know, all that junk, yeah, I think it's a great decision.
So with what they're doing, like, in my, like, never with a comment, right? Like, the annual release, we do it every beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Right. Or end of the year, really. I mean, whatever they do. But this is like Beyond Light. It's Witch Queen. It's the big expansion for the year. And essentially, like, you know, I always use my wife as a perfect example. And I do give Bungie credit because it has got a lot better. The end of a new player experience, they've done a great job with. The beginning is still bad. And when I say end, it's like, okay, I asked my wife, let's play this expansion. Well, in the very beginning, she had to grind 50 light levels. She was already behind. Then they changed it to 10. And then not only did they change it to 10, it's like, hey, here's some leveling gear. We're going to, you know, just get this. You're at 1300. Start working on your soft cap. Then go to like you're immediately within the content. And this even more. You have to think, it's on Twitter. It's even like still a top game on Steam. A lot of people are still playing it, and they hear good things and they read articles and like, hey, dude, Destiny is still around. And maybe they stopped playing after, let's say, Forsaken, or right before Forsaken. They say, there's too many problems, or there's One-Eyed Mask, or there's Stasis. I'm out of here. If they've played that game for that long, they liked it at some point. There's just things that they didn't like, and they just put it down. Well, if they hear, okay, this has gotten better, they're changing this. Hey, there's this brand new expansion, and you know what? You can play it day one. Like, it opens the door for so many people, returning and new. And like, that's never a bad thing, ever. So no, you're not crazy.
Yeah. I was little taken back by I was shocked that so many people were, I don't know, I just think it can only be, I thought it could only be good for the game.
Yeah, dude, and those players, they don't have that slide shot Vorpal ignition code. They don't have that Headstone Ice Luna. They don't have, you know what I'm saying?
They're still not getting handed like loot on a platter or nothing.
Or like the demo Adrenaline Junkie Judgment. I mean, those are very special roles that you grinded for, that you got. They're going to be very beneficial with content. They got their Sand Wasp. Let them have fun.
Let them run and be free.
Mac and Nura.
I had friends and family quit because chasing the power grind just isn't fun to them. So
same
when they
with
improved
me.
it, they came back. So if they improve it even more, I imagine they'd stay.
They just got to get the first part, dude, the beginning stages of being a player in this game. And then the end game of that, like I said, is a lot better. If you spent some time in the game, they've helped you continue content. But if you're just starting the game, it's a disservice almost.
My brother used to play a ton of D1 and a little bit of D2. But then, became too annoying to catch up. So he bailed. Maybe he'll come back for Witch Queen. I don't know. I got to check with him. But speaking of Witch Queen, pretty close now. We are now under 1 month away. Kind of pog. Medium pog in the chat right now. And does anyone here have like kind of a to-do list of things that you're trying to get knocked off, like a pre-Witch Queen bucket list? Anything that challenges you're trying to do? Anything at all like that? Weapons you're trying to get, armor you're trying to get, something?
Well, I mean, Hawkman and DMT before it gets random roll versioned in Xur. But we already said that.
True. Cool guy, you got anything going on?
Oh, dude, I'm always doing something in this game. Like right now, like I've been doing build viability, especially for there's gonna be like there's gonna be the campaign, there's gonna be probably a seasonal activity that we always get, but then of course there's the raid. But like I've been messing around with like Precious Scars, and I just put it together. I haven't used it, but it's Bountiful Wells with Ruinous Effigy. Remember the big orb splatter?
Yeah, sure.
It's void. I'm on a Sentinel with Bubble, and I'm running around with Precious Scars, so that should be causing healing with those explosions. And then Bountiful Wells, like just things like that. I probably wouldn't use that in a raid, Ruinous Effigy, but just messing with those things. I do have top weapons I'm still going for, and ultimately the number one thing is the dungeon armor, dude. And we talked about it, off pod the other day, that that armor allowing, if they're gonna to everyone listening. Usually when they do stuff like that, it's pretty special to like the dungeon or to the where you got it from. They're adding that spot to add in another artifact mod, and then they're going to allow the artifact mod to be fully just done, all 20 whatever pieces of it. You can just unlock it slowly. You don't want to be coming back to this dungeon in the heat of Witch Queen and going into the raid. So if you can get that done now, and how it works out, like on your arms, there's an overload, there's an unstoppable, there's an anti-barrier. You can do it all yourself with that dungeon armor, right? So like that's the most important thing to me, getting good gear of that.
Yeah, good call.
I'm going to be at your front door. We're going to be doing it pretty soon, Fallout.
Oh yeah, I was actually prepping my my master dungeon armor farm method. I'm trying to put a video out for people. It's like, here's a couple of easy ways to farm the boss for dungeon armor. If you don't have insert X weapon or insert X class here, like, oh, we're all warlocks or whatever. You don't have a hunter or a titan. But, Yeah, you speak the truth. I want to make sure that my warlock is like pretty much good into every department. I want a slot of that armor for her whole body. Because yeah, dude, those extra slots on the armor, they can make a difference. You know we're gonna get champions in that new raid. You know we are. Champions in every new raid these goddamn days.
For me, it's getting able to put throw distance on my gauntlets and not miss out on a champion mod.
Good call. Good
And you know
call.
what they say? Just pack the
what do they say?
wagon. Don't worry that the horse is blind.
Do they say that?
Oh yeah, all the time.
No. Oh really?
Cool guy says that. Cool guy says that a lot.
To
It's John
himself,
Madden.
yeah.
It's John Madden that said that for every game.
Oh right, yeah.
Remember we talked about it? Just pack the wagon. Doesn't matter that the horse is blind.
Rest in peace.
You have a
Great John
goal.
Madden.
Just get it done.
Now here's a guy.
Boom.
Freaking A. Drew, you still trying to do the what was it, 5K on the battle rifle there?
50K.
50.
but,
Oh Jesus
yeah,
Christ! Oh my
someday.
God.
Someday.
Someday. What number are you at?
7,200. Yeah.
Good Lord. That's not too bad. I had no idea the number was
bad.
50. I was
How
trying to
many-
remember in my head earlier. I was like, what's the number he's going for? I want to
Well,
say
like-
50, but that seems ridiculously high.
How many of those were
Well,
executed by
chaperone-
Blunt?
Probably a good amount of them. to be honest.
Good.
What were you saying about Chaperone, Drew?
Well, Chaperone and Twilight Oath both have 50,000 or like 49,000. So I'm like, to
Huh.
make this my number one used weapon, I have to get to 50. I guess.
You gotta grind, baby. Damn.
At some point, I guess.
All you gotta do is get
Look.
1,000 kills a day. You'll be done in no time, bro.
Uh,
Hey,
I,
chop
did
chop.
I did the math.
Yep.
It's science right there.
easy. Yeah. I guess otherwise, I don't know. When I'm playing Destiny, I hop on to go try and get my elusive snapshot max ability DMT, and I'm promptly disappointed by the fact that it is unfarmable and 1 per account, which makes me mauled. So I have a nice mauled session every week. Otherwise,
Yeah.
that's about it.
And especially at the end of the season, it's hard to get people together to do that stuff. I mean, you
It
can
is,
solo it,
yeah.
but
Who
yeah,
wants
and I
to
don't
do
have a
that?
clue what I'm
Like,
doing in that mission, to be honest.
Yeah, I've beaten it multiple times, but every time I go back in, you've like the same experience I do, where I'm like, which way do I go again? Like,
Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Not in
Yeah.
the slightest.
and people are like, you've done this before, right? I'm like, yeah, I wrote a guide on how to do it. I don't remember anything.
hey, go watch your video, Fallout.
Yeah, Gandalf, I have no memory of this place. Goddamn. And they released the date of the Witch Queen raid, March 5th. You guys got a day 1 raid team going on?
Actually, I'm picking up my puppy that day. I just made that. I got to
you
do
really?
that. Yeah, I am.
Are you still gonna do the raid? Because I know I was gonna let you be like, oh, I'm on a day 1 raid team. I thought you were on a day 1 raid team.
I am. It's
How's
me,
that gonna work out?
Hovey, True Vanguard, Ebontis, and Nomad.
It's a great team.
I might have to move some things around.
Call
Wow.
up Dylan. Dylan.
Rachel
up,
just
buddy?
texted me. She goes, "No, you're going."
Listen, it would be great if we could move that day 1 raid. I gotta pick up my brand new puppy.
Coming on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lumberg here.
It's a Dalmatian. I'm happy.
I saw
So.
pictures of that dog. It looks goddamn adorable. Oh, anyway.
Anyway, raid
Cammy,
hype.
Cammy, Drew, Merc, you gotta. What are your plans for the old the day 1 raid there? You playing? You watching? What are you doing?
If the boys need me, I'll show up. They know I'll do the grind.
We need you.
Goddamn Master
it's
Chief
the,
over
it's
here.
the Batlight approach. I love it.
Yeah.
I've
Wake
done
me
that for
when-
4 straight raids. It works.
Wake me when you need me.
Cam, every year we assume the same team is going to play. We haven't talked about this until now, but I know you assume what that team is. I know I
Yeah.
assume
Yep.
what that team is.
We know.
Yes, we need you, and I assume you need me. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's going to go the way it
That's
goes
how it
over here.
works.
We haven't talked about this until this moment.
They just formed a raid team right in front of our
Classic,
eyes, everybody.
Classic.
That's how easy it is. You have no
It's-
excuse
that's
to
just-
not go raid.
Just
That's
be a
right.
content creator and you.
And have
Yeah.
friends for 6 years. I mean,
Yeah, there you go. Come on.
I
it's
think
easy,
the only time
forehead.
that I talked about this was I asked EK, I pinged him in Discord. I'm like, "Is it going the same as every year?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." that
This
was
is
Yeah.
exactly
that
it.
was it. I was like, "Sure."
The unspoken bond. Merc?
I'm gonna be on my honeymoon, so chances of me getting to day 1 raid are 0.
What a nerd.
We're kind of
gets
like
married?
assembling like the Avengers out here. I find that really funny. EK's like hitting thousands of Grandmaster strikes. We're here doing God knows what in PvP with all these stupid interactions. Like a day before the raid. Yeah, we should probably get serious about this raid.
Say, babe, we're actually having my bachelor party online. It's it's for a
Yeah.
raid.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, I'll be Hawkman living off on the farm by himself.
Hawkman
The,
on the farm.
You know, the firing range
Hawkeye.
guys, they put a little something together for me.
Can't turn it down. Can't turn it down. God, that is
Might be the
funny.
fastest divorce in history if I ever tried to do something like that. You know, babe, I know I
Speedrun.
told you I was gonna take you on our honeymoon after the, but I'm actually gonna play Destiny. You know,
Yo, new
think that
YouTube
sounds
video.
better. Yeah.
Marriage speed run, any percent.
Oh man,
My God.
you almost have to now.
it's enticing. It really is enticing. You
It's
know,
enticing.
I've put 8 years into this relationship. Why not, burn it 2 weeks after marriage on a day 1 raid? So
You know what other relationship you've put 8 years into, Merc?
Destiny.
That's
actually,
right.
Yeah. I know. I
gonna
ignored
spit in
her
its
the
face
first
like
year
that?
we dated.
Good.
The first year we dated, I forgot her birthday because I was playing Destiny's beta on Xbox.
Holy shit, that is
Yeah.
very funny.
Also,
Yeah.
she'll understand. That's what you're
Yeah,
telling.
yeah. It
Yeah,
went
she's
super
like, "Oh,
well.
this again?
It
Terrific."
set the tone for the whole
It's
relationship.
the beta all over again.
Yeah, she always tells her friends jokingly, like, "Oh yeah, he's got a mistress named Destiny," which they assume is a stripper or a prostitute, but no, just a video game.
God, that is funny. If you're listening to our podcast and you're either a new player or if you just have never raided before, there's plenty of people in my Twitch community who I've known for years. They've never done one raid, which is like shocking to me, but also I get it because not everybody who plays the game has like a group of people at every beck and call be like, hey, let's go do the raid or whatever. You know what I mean? But if you're new or if you haven't raided before, day 1 raid day is
Magical.
super magical. I love it a lot. I wish, oh God, like if I could only rewind the clock. I only have 2 day 1 raid completions because for the longest time I was not a full-time content creator, and back in the day, Bungie didn't always make it easy, right? They'd be like, oh, new raid dropping on a Tuesday. Like, oh, cool, thanks Bungie.
Well, that and the power level grind on top
Power
of it.
level
with
grind, yeah.
Contest mode enabled. Sometimes you couldn't even stand at the starting line unless you played the
No.
whole week.
Yeah, I remember when I had done like moderate prep for Last Wish, and that was again before I went full-time content creator.
You know, like the hardest raid ever, day 1.
The hardest raid ever, and like or for day 1 or week 1 or whatever, and came back home after work excited to jump in, and we went into the first encounter and we all got taint slapped like super hard. We got destroyed, and only 2 teams got the day 1 emblem on that. Hashtag 2402. Pour one out for Dado. Pour one out right there. Sorry, I had to do it. Love him. Pour one out at home. Pain. But yeah, I now have 2 day 1 completion emblems in a row. We got Deepstone Crypt, which was my first day 1, or first 24-hour raid completion, and then Vogue, and going for 3 in a row. Super, super hype about it. And if you're not planning on playing the raid, it's still really fun to watch on Twitch. Again, when I realized I couldn't do the raid Last Wish, I just ended up watching Dado, and it's watching the race for people to try and get that world's first belt. It's really entertaining. So look into it if you're a new player. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. On the other end, I even see people in Twitch chat right here saying, I've never done a day 1 raid. I've always wanted to. If you've said that, guaranteed someone else has said that. So,
Yep.
It's one of those things. I would, if you make the decision, if you have the time, once that day comes, if you have the time, whether it's work off or it just hits your schedule correctly and you want to do it, like now is the right time to put feelers and try to find people.
Oh yeah.
Right now, man.
For sure.
So
One huge tip for joining those groups and making those groups, be upfront and very firm with your expectations for the group and what you plan to do in terms of time
Yes.
commitment. Some assume that you're going a full 24 hours when you might only be doing 8, or you might
Really-
quit under a certain circumstance. Make sure they know that.
Here's one that I came up with, Cammy, that a lot of people have really liked who I've talked with. It's become my gold standard for going forward. So when I'm putting the team together, and like now I'm pretty much have my raid team set for because we're kind of reusing the team we did for the last 2. But the criteria going in, when I tell them like, hey, do you want to be on the raid team again this year? I'm like, here's the goal. We're going for the day 1 emblem completion. That is the goal. And by agreeing to be on the day 1 raid team, you commit to a minimum of 12 hours day 1. So if you're like, yeah, I'll be on the raid team, you're going to go with me from launch for a minimum of 12 hours. And if after that time you are tired and you want, or whatever, you just want to leave, you're free to leave if you want, but you do so knowing that you could be replaced because the other people want to continue going on without you. So it's like, you just go in with that agreement, you know, that way everybody completely on the same page. 12 hours. After that, if you're tired, bail if you want to, but we may decide to carry on without you. And we haven't run into any problems yet.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I hear people complain about raid groups is like just one person or 2 people out of the group didn't really specify that they weren't available for the full 24 hours. And they're like so close to finishing, but just couldn't.
And there's nothing wrong with that too.
Yeah, that's fine.
True, yeah. I even made a channel in my Discord specifically for people looking for a day 1 raid team. If you're in my Discord, that is.
And it's also very important. I mean, another thing, you know, you watch a streamer, or say you've watched a streamer in the past, you know, like there are seriously, and nobody, it's not talked about enough. Like there are serious health problems with sitting and gaming for that long. I mean,
absolutely.
So like 30-minute breaks, hour breaks, get up, walk around, get a bite to eat.
For sure.
Always, dude, like get like a Bubba cake, like just 40 plus ounces of water next to it all times. Yeah. Sip on it. Definitely walk around. It's like what the streamers do. Like some of them are very unhealthy, and I've never liked that, and it's not brought up enough. So like when you do something like that, be sure to do that. I set timers on my phone, like literally a reoccurring 45-minute timer.
I need to start doing that more. I'm actually planning on doing it's rare for me, but I'm going to do a 12-hour stream on Friday. Part of a sub goal that I did, but you got to get up, stretch, walk around, drink water,
eat a good
food,
breakfast.
Eat a good breakfast. Make sure you're not eating garbage. Usually, actually, the new tradition before the day 1 raid that I usually do with the lovely Anno over there is we'll make a big homemade meal the night before, like a really tasty meal that is like, guaranteed to make leftovers, right?
Like beans over toast.
Please stop.
No, not no.
Mother, I swear to God, that okay.
Yeah, something hearty. You know, think beans over toast.
think beans on toast.
Leftovers? Do you have leftover beans over toast? Is that something that you prep?
You leave them in the can, and then you.
That's right.
You wouldn't understand, Merc.
Really not.
God. And I don't even, what the hell was I even saying? Oh, we make a big meal, right? Lately we've been doing homemade chicken noodle soup, like a huge vat of like homemade chicken noodle soup. And that way during raid day, if it's like, oh, we're hungry, we're tired, whatever, you go take a break, eat something healthy. And then for dinner, like, you know, you have leftover
keep it in a crock pot.
Yeah, dude, you got that leftover chicken noodle soup, plenty of nutrition, plenty of veg, a little energy, drink a little water, you'll be good to go. Just make sure you're not being stupid and like, you got to get up and stretch. Because if you don't, your body will punish you later.
Okay, I want to add some actual raid tips now. Like, you got the group together, you set the expectations.
Yeah.
You're stepping in. Here are my biggest tips, and these will learn from previous raids. Number 1, and this is the biggest one. We're not going to forget it, Drew. Don't ever assume raid encounters are symmetrical.
I see Drew making a face. I feel like is there a story here that I need?
Not
Even
every side.
if they look symmetrical.
I need more context here.
This is more than one raid. This is more than one encounter. Don't ever assume
Oh,
symmetry.
no,
Don't assume that the left
there's
side is just as easy as the right side, or the middle is just as easy
Oh.
as the opposite. It's not the same.
Oh, good God.
Sometimes there's a hobgoblin in one, and there's not a hobgoblin in another. Sometimes it's just simply the strong side of cover. Other times, it's the layout of the room, like in Last Wish, where you're looking at a call-out map and don't realize that the rooms are
where it
different.
looks literally symmetrical. The room literally is the same.
That's very funny. You know, we have a very heavily PvP leaning crowd here, but I think some people at home would be shocked to know, like we've all, like, I mean, we're all, I would imagine, pretty good raiders out here. Like, I know plenty of people here have day one raid completion emblems, and
Necrotic grips.
all right.
Save the day.
Save the
I
day,
got
baby.
tip
Deep
number
stone,
2
dude.
coming up.
that's right, dude. What, Cammy?
Tip number 2 coming up.
Yeah, more tips. Let's go.
You showed up to the raid, you're a competent Destiny player, have some pride in that. Drew and I have the habit of just being like, I guess we suck every time we do the raid. And sometimes it's the raid's fault. It's not your fault. We will beat our head against the wall for over an hour plus in the raid and just realize, oh, that mechanic was bugged and not supposed to work that way.
I mean, like, so the biggest context of this, like, I guess, story, the symmetry one, and I guess we suck, is in Last Wish, I think we did the day one thing, and we actually finished with like a pretty good place. I think we got like 6th or something like that. God knows how.
That's good.
Anyways,
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, we
I
actually
guess
did
we
pretty good
suck.
one.
I guess
We
Wait,
should have
well,
not forgotten
well.
that Last Wish, and we're still like, man, I guess we suck.
I mean, well, we spent, like, I want to say at the least 6 hours, well, at least 4. I want to say 4 to 6 sounds about right, Cam. At Riven, like, just like, and what was messed up is sometimes it would work and sometimes it wasn't. But there's 2 rooms in Riven, and you have to go take the little taken thing. One person stands on the little window sill and tells you where to go slam the thing, and, like, you know, the other person takes the taken thing and goes to the appropriate symbol that's being shown. We thought we could streamline this by having a column map. So we took screenshots. We were like, dude, we can definitely just like eliminate part of this process by just having the map here. Like, easy. You see
Smart.
the symbol, go to the symbol. And sometimes it would work. Like, sometimes it'd be like, good, we move on. And other times, Cam would be like, dude, I'm slamming it like exactly like where we are. And I'm like, are you sure you're slamming it? And he's just like, yeah. And like other times I'd be like, I thought I slammed it, and would be like, I think we just fucking suck, dude. Like, let's make sure we're slamming it in the right place. It'd be like hyper accurate. Yeah, the rooms are different.
We would take
Even
like
though they looks like
10 extra
yeah,
seconds.
even though they
standing there.
look
Rooms are-
symmetrical, like
yep.
we literally could have had so much more time on Riven and finished probably way sooner,
Oh, that's
Like,
crazy.
or potentially sooner. I don't know. I like to believe, right? If you know other things. didn't
Sure,
collapse,
yeah,
I guess.
totally, yeah.
But yeah, like that was like so defeating. We were just like, the whole time we were just like, dude, guys, like, let's stop sucking. Like, so that's where like Cam's
Okay.
thing comes
That's a
from.
good
And the
tip.
other one, what was the other? Oh, it was garden. When we were doing garden, the number 2 tip comes from. There was a bug in garden where when you had to do the tether, the final tether to like stun the boss, sometimes it would show up blue, even though you had to tether red or something like that. The color would bug, and we'd be
Oh.
like, and we would, I don't know, we'd do something and it wasn't right, and we were like, dude, I think we just suck. And like,
And even getting
it
to
was
that
bugged.
point takes a lot
Yeah.
of effort, and so you just
It
don't
does,
know.
yeah.
Okay,
I got
so
another.
then
Yeah, it's like
I
you
got
said,
tips too, but I want to.
I'm gonna
keep
hit tip
Cammy's
number
tip.
3,
Yeah,
and
you
then
hit,
you take it from there.
hit me with tip 3, baby. Let's go.
Tip number 3 is if you're not vibing with the team composition like Titans, Hunters, and Warlocks, just take the 5 minutes to switch. It is worth it.
That's fair. Yeah, I think that's definitely fair.
You know, and
Provided
then-
they have the extra characters leveled up, but yeah.
Yeah, with your raid prep, usually your main is going to be the last.
In terms
That's
of
what I'm saying.
in terms of power level grind,
take
yeah.
the light level
Yes.
hit. Like, for example, if you're getting beamed by ads and you haven't even seen what DPS phase looks like, go
Yeah.
load up invisibility just to see it once. It'll help.
Sure. Tip for me is a really important one, and it's one that a lot of people are going to have trouble with. You have to completely remove your ego, and if you take an L, if you botch an encounter, you, not your team, specifically you, botch the encounter, fucking man up, admit to it, and be like, I did this, my bad, and you move on. Because when you don't do that, like if you're in one of those situations where you're pretty sure you botched the encounter, but you're like, oh, yeah, I don't want to say it because then my team is going to be mad at me. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, we all wiped. What happened there? And nobody says anything, right? It's like, well, I get you don't want to let your teammate down. You don't want to let the team down. You don't want to get yelled at or anything. But if you don't speak up about what you think happened wrong on your end that caused the wipe, you're just extending the duration of that encounter. Because if we're all playing together and I mess up and I'm like, oh, I stepped here and then we all wiped, that might mean something. Maybe it could mean something.
I shot
Maybe
the red hobgoblin and we blew up. Like,
I shot Riven's wrong eye or something like that. And then it's like, okay, we at least know why we're failing. Like you have to just be like, it should be no big deal. If there's one person in the raid who's gonna make a big deal and just continually chew you out, okay, it's like, okay, that might happen. Tensions do run high if you're like if you've been awake for like 20 hours, right? But it's important to try to take your ego out. It's important to just straight up communicate and be like, I did this, I botched it. That wipe was my bad because I did XYZ. My bad.
I think trust your team also adds on to that too. I'm gonna say a tip for the streamer friends is streamers are usually in a position where they're carrying people for all sorts of different content and they sort of get micromanagey. Just trust your team. They're expert players too. And by you focusing on you, it lets everyone else. By you focusing on you, it limits your own mistakes, which helps everyone else. And in the long run, in a 24-hour raid, that's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Like with Vault, I mean, especially with those oracles at the end and they go the other side, as long as your system works, I mean, I heard some crazy stuff that, there's L1, there's front mid, there's L9, like then there's like just stuff I've like, it makes sense to people, but you're like,
second one's first one's second, third one's third.
Yeah. Things like that, just stick to that.
Man, from a very novice raider, which is me, like I only have like 40 raid completions total and like all of Destiny 2. So like I do not raid ever, pretty much. That's not true. I generally do every raid like at least twice, like 2 to 3 times. And then I go from there. So I at least understand what people are talking about. I have a chance to see the weapons and everything. But that means I'm pretty much always the most novice person in any raid group that I put together with my clan. So I gotta say, like, the only tip I have is like, if you don't understand something when someone is explaining it, like, please say that you don't understand it and let them explain it again, as opposed to bashing your head against an encounter that you don't know and causing wipe after wipe after wipe. Because like I will always do that. If someone explains something and I like don't get it, I'll be like, hold on, explain it to me again. Like, I don't understand that, because I don't want to be the reason why we start an encounter and then fail an encounter and then have to do it all again. Like, I promise you it's faster for someone to re-explain it than it is for you to fail an encounter.
Yeah, that is true. I'm trying to think. These are all really good tips. I'm trying to think if there's any more.
Ahead of time, you can specify one person, maybe a leader in your group, that has final say on something. Yeah,
IGL.
That's a good idea.
IGL.
You need a shot caller.
For us at sides, if we're all in between strategies, we're like, this sounds good, this sounds good, this sounds good. Sides is the one that decides.
Yeah, in-game leader. IGL.
Sides is your IGL there?
Yeah, in that case, yeah.
That's a good pick.
He has the most like varied game experience, so I think
I think
can
that's
make
a good
the best
pick.
choice there.
He's a smart guy when he's not memeing on people and himself.
Really angry.
When he uses 2% of his power on the raid, it makes a difference.
Oh man, those are really good. If you're listening at home and you have any additional raid tips, specifically day 1 raid tips, I think we'd all really like to hear them. Because I mean, hell, I'm going into I want that 3rd emblem, baby. So let us know on Twitter and stuff like that. Cool guy, were you about to hit me with another one?
No, I mean, have fun, man. A lot of people go in there expecting they're going to get it done. Like 80% of you aren't. Okay. I'm like, it is so difficult. It is so difficult. Even really good and great raid teams, like especially once World First is gone, which I'm never. I'm thinking about our raid team is going to be something along the lines of like, if you ain't first, you must be us. Like that's what our. Don't get discouraged, man. Have fun with it.
For sure.
And you know, a lot of people have different philosophies. You know, pure blind, and that's okay. You know, if you're a team that want to go pure blind, figure out the mechanics yourself, that's fine.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that do jump around. Hey, how did you guys do this? You know, what was the strat? You know, I'm among that. I love talk because you know I almost think of it as we're all doing this at the same time. We're all on the same team. Like
Yeah.
just in my head, it's like you know, like because Fallout is gonna have a separate group. I want to like Fallout. How'd you guys do this? Or if we got through it, I'd say, hey, dude, do this, do this, do that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Share information and get through it. Also, keep that's where I was going. You know, keep if you do decide not to do it blind, make sure you have your lines of communication up with your other friends and other raid groups. And you know, there's raid secret or there's discords and there's Reddit threads for it too. Just all that's out there.
Yeah. Really important thing that it kind of goes back to the beginning of set expectations, because the last thing you would want to do is be like, oh, we put together a day one raid team. And then everybody gets together for the day one raid team. And it's like, okay, I have so-and-so stream up so we get more information on the first encounter. And then someone in the chat is like, wait, we're not doing the whole thing blind? Like,
yeah. Figure all that out.
Figure it all out. Of that. What is your goal? Is your goal to get a day one completion by any means necessary? Is your goal to go in and be like, hey, let's just have fun and see what happens? Is your goal to get all the way through completely blind, which can be very fun? Way back in the day, I did oh god, what was it called? What was the Crota raid called?
King's Fall.
Crota's End.
Crota's End? King's Fall was Oryx.
Oryx or Crota. Yeah, it's Crota's End.
Yeah, Crota's End. We did that one, my group and I, completely blind. Had a great time. Super fun. But yeah, make sure that you're going in with expectations with your team, and try to identify if there's someone in your raid team who maybe is lagging behind in performance. Try and find ways for the team to succeed without just being like, oh, this person's sucking right now. Like, you're just like, every time I look around, you're dying or something like that. Like, just try and make it like a team effort or something like that, because you're only going to add to the frustrations and all that stuff. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. All right, cool.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
You're picking up what I'm putting down.
I do have one more.
Hit me, bro.
It's something that I've remembered to do. Because it really sucks to do it after the fact, but really, like, if I'm running Warlock, I think I'm gonna go Titan, but like for Warlock, and this is what I did for Deepstone, you know, have 3 builds ready for the encounter. Like I had an entire build around Necrotic Grip, so if there's a lot of ads and it's pestering our team, Necrotic Grips are great. There's also Boots of Assembler, right? Boots of Assembler is great, especially a couple Warlocks popping those rifts and just throwing out some heals, right? And then, of course, something like Phoenix Protocol, whatever it is, you know, just have options open and don't really be tied down. Like, especially if you wipe 3 or 4 times, like, dude, you know what? I'm going to throw on the Necrotic Grip and just nuke that area and be done with it. That goes for Titan and Warlock, too. So that's what I recommend.
Good call. Again, if you have any day one raid tips, let us know on Twitter. I'm sure most of you by now know what our Twitter handles are. If not, we'll maybe go over them later, but get at us with those tips. Moving on, we got real quick community questions and a couple of good ones this week. I highlighted a few of my favorite ones that I thought were worthy of a quick discussion. We kind of covered this one a little bit in our talk about the pre-Witch Queen prep from Friggin' Duck on Twitter. What are your personal picks for some absolute fire weapons worth going for before the Witch Queen drops? We had a similar question from Rambo549, who says, I recently got my friend back into the game and wondering what are some good guns and gear to get him before Witch Queen. So if we kind of take those 2 questions and mash them into one, what weapons would you recommend that, like, maybe a seasoned vet try to get their hands on now before Witch Queen? And then what would you recommend a new player try to get their hands on before Witch Queen? Tough question. Witherhoard is good. Is that at the tower kiosk?
I think it is at the kiosk.
I think it is at the tower kiosk.
Yeah, Witherhoard is a grenade launcher that puts down a pool of damage, and if enemies step on the pool, they get hurt, whatever. Like, what's it called? Taken Blight? I'm trying to think of what is a non-Destiny term for that.
Like
Don't worry about
AoE?
it.
Yeah.
Just hit them with their horde.
Floor is lava.
The
Floor is
floor is
Floor is
lava.
there you go. Floor is lava.
Yeah. Thankfully, a lot of really good weapon picks are available at the kiosk. Like
How
if
do you
you're,
get Arbalist?
I think RB is also at the kiosk
Okay, get that. Get that over Ariana's. Arbalist is gonna be better
for PVE.
for
Yes.
PvE. Yeah.
For PVE.
Aegers could be good. I recently got mine 5 days ago, and I'm a content creator. Play this game a lot.
Yeah. Hey now.
Harden our dust grenade launcher from Dares of Eternity. Blinding
a
and
good one.
auto-loading holster.
Blinding grenades is really, really good for PvE. I'm going to be going into the day one raid with one, probably my truth teller, maybe leveled up. In a
Disruption
perfect
break?
world, yeah, disruption break, truth teller. Yeah, blinding grenades are really good because you hit one clump of ads and they all start rubbing their eyes and walking around slowly. It's very good for tough PvE content. Good
A
recommendation.
sniper rifle with lead from gold. It doesn't
Yes.
seem like that perk's very fancy. It says if you pick up power ammo, you also get some extra special ammo. But in raid encounters, you can essentially enter with double special weapons and not run out of ammo because of special finishers, plus lead from gold, and the way that the pity ammo system works.
Yeah, true. If you're
Eager's Edge, right? From Dares of Eternity, the sword.
the sword,
perk.
yeah, the sword perk, Eager Edge,
Mm-hmm.
for PvP,
For general
PvE, for just
platforming, PvE. It lets
Sure,
you fly
okay.
around.
Sure,
I
sure.
would say for new players, Dares of Eternity and the Gunsmith are going to be your friends.
Yeah.
And Zer, obviously, when Zer comes by. But like having played with a new player recently, the majority of the weapons that he's using right now are coming from those three sources, and they're available to everyone pretty much instantly. So, pay attention to what Zer's selling. Do as many Dares of Eternity as you can, open those chests, and always turn in stuff at the Gunsmith and get drops. Because there's good drops from the Gunsmith, there's good drops from Dares of Eternity, and Zer, obviously, for a player who's played a million times, now we care more about the legendaries than we do about the exotics. But like, you're getting 2 to 3 exotics a week from Zer if you can afford it. So,
Those were the-
Rick. Oh, go
for it.
ahead.
I was gonna say those were the PvE picks for me.
are
PvP
good.
is a lot easier.
What are your very easy PvP picks?
Well, if you bought the dungeon, AS Luna is already great to go for.
Great hand cannon from the dungeon, yeah. True.
Yeah, as for shotguns, the Matador is good in a pinch, but I think you could just go with Duality plus the Quick Charge mod. You can get mods from the Gunsmith and Ada.
Yeah, it's fair.
So yeah, just AS Luna Duality and you're gonna be set.
Ace is Ace. That's not a free weapon, is it?
It's a kiosk weapon.
It's a kiosk weapon, but you have to. Can you get Ace as a free to play player?
I don't think so. Well,
not
maybe.
sure.
I mean, if they're vaulting Forsaken, maybe.
Because they are, but they haven't done it yet, have they?
No.
I can't remember if they've
don't know.
vaulted. I think right now you have to pay for Ace, but maybe in the future, I'm not sure.
Um,
If at any point in the
Splicer
future you can get
weapons.
Ace for free, you should get Ace for free.
Splicer weapon has Sojourner's Tail, which is a good replacement for an energy slot shotgun. It's a slug, very consistent.
Yeah, we have
I'm
chat
gonna-
saying Forsaken pack is required for Ace, but in the future, wait, Forsaken is free now, but you need the Forsaken pack for Ace. It's all very confusing.
The fact that
Um,
we're talking about this is the problem.
I want to kind of piggyback what Cam said there.
Sure.
With Sojourner. I mean, that's a splicer weapon. Another thing to go for. We talked about the blinding launcher, but the other one from Splicer is Ignition Code. That is slideways. You do spike grenades, so it's the complete opposite, right? It would be it's actually slide shot with Vorpal, so you can just keep sliding and hitting the 20% kinetic damage from the GL. I mean, that's the damage side of a GL. It's the best damage GL. And it's coming from the kinetic. So what you can do is go to your current Helm Umbral for this season, and at the very top, if you go along the line, it'll have actually Chosen, and then all these things in Splicer. And what it'll cost is an Umbral plus some I forget, it's just like, I think it's legendary shards, but then it's whatever the I get you the exact what it is. The currency that maxes out at 3,000. It's the one that you get right now, the Season of the Lost. Anyway, just hit that, dude. I mean, that has Sojourner, that has Grid Skipper, that has Ignition Code. That's a really good Umbral to keep hitting. I'm still looking for that Ignition Code, so that's what I've been doing with my Umbrals. You can go back to the Season of the Splicer, but it takes that, I forget what it's called. It's like data fragments, data lice.
The data, no, it's what is it, encrypted data or something?
Yeah, you get 25 per override per slicer run, and it takes 65 or 75 to pull one of those Ingrams. So if you have a bunch stacked up, do that. If not, you have to go to this season. That's a really good spot to spend them.
Good call.
So yeah, PvP weapons were easy. AS Luna Duality, Sojourner, Matador. You switch between those, maybe get no time to explain, just to switch to a pulse for longer range maps. And I think between those weapons right there, that's kind of your no excuses setup. Like, you are good enough with those to pretty much do any PvP content in the game.
And let's remember we have weapon crafting coming.
Oh yeah, good old weapon crafting.
So, I mean, that's going to open up a whole new world.
Hopefully.
And we don't even know what it entails.
On wood. Yeah, I'm still going to be chasing god rolls between now and Witch Queen, even though there's the potential that in the future, maybe we might be able to craft our own god roll somehow. I pray to Jeebus. But good question there, and thank you for the answers, boys. Oh wow, we talked about this already, kind of. A question I thought that was good from B Sheezy on Twitter. After playing enough hours, it's not unreasonable for one's vault to be full of god rolls, or potential god rolls, or in Merc's case, nothing at all. Should the sandbox change appropriately in the future? How do you all decide on what to shard and what to keep? Do you guys have a system of what to shard, what to keep?
Yeah.
Or what is your system?
Was it the Dado expression that gets me? Like, does it spark joy type thing? Yeah, that's the best place to start.
When I talked with Dado for the original vault cleaning video on YouTube. Goddamn copycat. I'm just kidding. I am just kidding. Yeah, his original advice to me was Dado usually keeps one PvE roll, one PvP roll of any particular archetype or something like that. So at least there was a method to his madness. For me, I'm a little different because I'm a content creator, so I may need to make a video on a outdated weapon that doesn't exist anymore, like the Arantil or something. But I think Merc mentioned something smart. It's like you want to make sure you're covered for any Bungie surprise. So if Bungie comes out of nowhere and says, "Hey, 180 RPM hand cannons are good now," you don't want to be caught with your pants down. You want to make sure you have at least one of each weapon archetype, I would think, with a good roll in the vault somewhere. That is my thought.
I look at it as, does this weapon do something unique that nothing in the sandbox can come close to replicating? And then, secondary question, if I deleted it now, how long would it be before I see another one like it?
Good question.
And if the answer is in the hundreds of hours, statement. I don't delete it.
Yeah, that is true. I'm currently trying to get a god roll, a different god roll main ingredient. I know Zer gave us one for free. I'm trying to get a different one, but it's proving to be very annoying. Main ingredient is not exactly a weapon that you trip over.
If you had any drop?
I've got 2 to drop and they were both bad.
Pain.
Yeah, big pain. Star Horse is really giving me the shaft. Yeah, what up, Merc?
My way that I do it is, it's like, is it the best roll of this gun that I have? Or is it arguably the best roll that I have? If it's not, or I ask myself, like, can I build around this roll? Like, if it's something where the perks have really great synergy, or it's something really unique that I'm like, oh, I could build around this, right? Like, I'm still searching for a retrace path with like max range, right? Is that going to be the best roll? Probably not, but I've never seen one of those before, and I'd like to get one.
Sure.
But everything else, like if I get a legal action, I've got 2 legal actions sitting in the vault. I look at it as like, is this undeniably the best roll, or arguably the best roll that I have? If not, just delete it. Like, it's not like I'm ever going to use that like weirdly kind of good legal action over the really good roll I have sitting in the vault if I decide to use legal action. So I might as well just keep the one that's better.
And for right now, I guess if you have anything that isn't actually, if there's any exotic right now that you're not using routinely for PvP or PvE, you could probably just delete it, because when Witch Queen drops, all your gear is going to get brought up to 1350 anyway, right? Including things that you take out of the collections. And you can pull things, you can pull any exotic weapon out of collections. So you could free up a lot of space in your vault by just doing that right now. Something to think about.
Prospector never gets deleted, bro.
I can give them the TLDR on armor.
Sure.
Armor is pretty easy. I look at the first 3 stats, the mobility, resilience, and recovery. And if they equal 34, it's usually an immediate keep for me. Titan and Warlock, I keep lower mobility, so I like to see the number 2 at mobility, but I will also take the number 6. Then for Hunter, that's harder to do. I usually take 2 in resilience. I don't care about resilience at all. And
then that's a
by
shame,
doing
Bungie.
that, and then you hit a loadout optimizer on Destiny Item Manager, it'll show you a lot of tier 31 and 32 builds if you stick to that rule.
You have
try to
pretty
make
much
the top 3 equal 34.
You've pretty much very close to the same easy rule of thumb for armor that I have. Warlock Titan, low mobility, and if the roll is like over 60, the higher over 60 it is, I'm like, good. Hunter, you know, anything over 60-ish is great. If I have to sacrifice on one stat for the Hunter, it would probably be Resil. But yeah, armor's a little bit trickier, because with weapons, you can delete them and pull them back at any time from the collections, but with armor, I've got a bunch of exotic armor sitting in the vault, because all the rolls are like 64, 65, 66. You know, I've got like really good rolls that I don't want to really acquire again. Usually my rule of thumb, but good tips right there for keeping your vault clean. Thank you, gentlemen. And then maybe one more.
Do the fusion rifle questions.
That's the one, yeah, I was looking at. 2 questions under one umbrella. One from Bogan13. Currently, the Xur's ingredient and Timeline's Vertex are hot in PvP. Do you think they deserve a nerf, or should Bungie put them in the world loot pool so everyone can farm it? Okay. And then from G Brew, ignoring the beans on toast comment, how are we feeling about the rise of fusion rifles in the D2 sandbox versus shotguns? Their biggest competition. Are fusions in a good spot, or are they too hot?
Okay.
Merc.
Let me
broken.
take this.
They're completely broken. They need to be nerfed and I hate special weapons.
Just remove fusions
Drew's there.
from the game. Just remove fusions from the game entirely. No, number one, main ingredient is too strong, but it's almost entirely because of a perk that really doesn't deserve to be in fusion rifle rolls anymore. It's tap the trigger. The benefits that tap the trigger give to fusion rifles are insane. They basically improve the 2 biggest weaknesses they have, which are stability and accuracy. Right. Yep.
Whoa.
Robot?
Hold on, Merc. After you said stability and accuracy, you turned into Robot Man. Oh, he's gone. What happened?
Am I back now?
You're back. You said stability and accuracy. Moving on.
Tap the trigger gives huge bonuses to the 2 biggest weaknesses of fusions, which are stability and accuracy. Right?
Yeah.
It should not be in fusion rifle like perk pools at all. It's way too strong for that. That's the main reason why main ingredient. That, and it was literally a perfect roll. Like it was
a very perfect roll.
A very difficult roll to get, as you know, trying to grind it outside of Xur. It was literally a perfect roll. Main ingredient is too strong currently. I'm pretty sure if you just like tap the trigger off of it, it'll probably fall closer back into place. Timeline's Vertex is not too strong. I know that people are like, oh, the rise of Timeline's Vertex. You know where Timeline's Vertex sits in the usage? It's like 49 right now in the top 100.
Now usage does not necessarily dictate strength.
Okay, but
you should all be worried about that Dream Breaker.
You knew I was gonna.
You should be worried about the Dream Breaker.
I really enjoy the Timeline's Vertex.
It's a fine fusion rifle, right?
It's great,
but it's not like overpoweringly good or anything like that. It's nowhere close to the main ingredient. You know, the main ingredient is the most used fusion rifle we've ever had in D2.
I'm aware.
It's the only fusion rifle which has ever truly been meta. Like there's been weird off meta broken stuff like Telesto and Air until the points. Main ingredient is the only fusion rifle that is seeing common usage. Like a large number of people are actually using it. You can go into a game and see 2 to 3 main ingredients in a game. That's never happened with a fusion rifle before, outside of when Telesto was literally broken, right? So main ingredient, yeah, it needs some work. Timelines Vertex, all other fusion rifles, man. How many fusions do you think there are in the top 50? The answer is 2, and one of them is
Yeah.
main ingredient.
Yeah.
Like there is no
Very
rise of
few.
fusion rifles where they're like supplanting shotguns. I think there's 20 shotguns in the top 100, or like 18 shotguns in the top 100. There's 4 fusion rifles. Like that's wild overreaction to the fact that we're just now seeing fusion rifles actually
Sure.
crack the usage numbers to a little bit. And I know that usage doesn't equal strength, right? What
Sure.
usage is it's an equation. It's strength plus ease of use. That's what
Exactly
it is.
correct,
So
yeah.
Timeline's Vertex may be strong, but it's not necessarily the easiest fusion rifle to use. Main ingredient is. Main ingredient is strong and it's super easy to use. That's why it's finally become meta. Prior to this, we've had fusion rifles that have been strong, but not really easy to use. And that's why the usage numbers aren't so high. So that's my piece. The fusion rifle, the rise of fusion rifles, the reign of fusion rifles. If you
Yeah.
kick main ingredient out of there, which I'm sure they're going to, like there is no rise of fusion rifles. There's just the one main ingredient, and that's it.
I'm gonna give you my quick piece, and then I want to tell you a quick story that you might find interesting. So if we're looking only, I'm actually working on a video for this for tomorrow. I shouldn't spoil it too much, but if you're looking at only at the fusion rifles that Xur brought, I actually really like the Timelines Vertex. I use that to counter. Cracked, bro. I use that to counter the Xur main ingredient because it can kill from close to the same range and it has quicker charge time. And people don't expect it. I think a lot of people went all in on the OG main ingredient from Xur, and they were like, I don't need to pick up another fusion for as long as I live. And they should have picked up the Timeline because I think it's really good. And if the main ingredient does get kicked in the crotch, I'll be set for life. Secondly, I've been playing a lot of Rumble lately. Really enjoy Rumble. Trying to challenge myself to see how many wins in a row I can get and all that stuff. I ran into a guy in Rumble who had the most obnoxious main ingredient roll I'd ever fought in my entire life. It was worse than the one from Xur. It's the one I'm trying to get right now. It's red dot micro, accelerated coils, firmly planted rangefinder with a stability masterwork. So even though it doesn't have the almighty tap the trigger, it was just stupid. The fact that I would love to log onto his account because I want to bring it into a private lobby to see the kill range, because I was measuring the kill range on the Xur ingredient, which is about 22 meters with under pressure activated. Further than that is kind of like a no. Timelines Vertex 22, if you're lucky, usually around 21, right? So it's not too far off. This guy was going from deeper with both firmly and rangefinder, and his charge time was better because he had ACK coils on it. And I could not, I literally could not get in on him. It was so rough. And we found out he was actually within the top 50 of Rumble worldwide, and he had just gotten that role. Like he came into my Twitch chat. We had a conversation about it. And I was like, where did you get that motherfucking main ingredient roll? He was like, oh, I just found it in my vault. He just had it there, he was sitting on it. And God damn, it's just so frustrating because you can't, the gun is so hard to obtain. You pretty much have to get lucky and have Xur either bring another one or maybe get one in dares if you're lucky. But the roll was ridiculous and he was putting in insane work. And I do agree with you, Merc. I think that people are quick to voice their complaint. I do get annoyed when I get killed repeatedly by one weapon type. But yeah, fusion rifles are rarely cracking the top usage numbers, with a couple notable exceptions. Maybe
do we want to talk about why?
I mean, do you think Cartesian coordinate is overpowered? Do you think Cartesian coordinate is too strong?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
okay, well, outside of Drew, do you guys think Cartesian coordinate is too strong? Legitimately, do you think it's too strong, right? In the right hands, is it annoying to play against? Yeah, it is, right? But the right hands is what, 1 out of every 100 players? Whereas you've got Chaperone, which is in the hands of, 7 out of 100 players, and they all are shooting watermelon bullets at people from 2 meters less than what Cartesian coordinate can kill at, and there's no charge time. It's just if Chaperone gets nerfed and if main ingredient gets nerfed, we'll need to revisit it, right? Because people will filter out a main ingredient And if they like fusions, like maybe they'll try Timelines Vertex, and Timelines Vertex will go up. Maybe they'll try Cartesian Coordinate will go up. But as it stands right now, like when you're looking, yeah, I mean, it's crazy how many shotguns there are. Winter's Lie is still the most used gun in the game, which is insane, right? On a holistic
Sure.
scale.
Yeah.
Chaperone, then you have Seventh Seraph, then you have Matador, then you have Fractithist, then you have Reese Walker, right? Like,
Yeah.
Found Verdict, Wastelander. You have every single one of those before you have 2 fusion rifles. 2. And like Cartesian Coordinate is the second most used fusion rifle.
I think there's a better fusion rifle than those two. But if I had to choose out of those two, I would go Timeline. I think it just barely edges it out.
It's just
Telesto is like still the king.
Telesto.
Telesto has weird interactions with range, where because like the bolts do the majority of the damage, like if you can get your groupings tight, it can kill at like insane.
Like
anybody, yeah.
Because there's like no flick and just they're done 40 meters easy.
They functions differently because there's no damage drop off,
shoot them
right?
off the floor anymore, which was its biggest weakness. Like it got a major buff.
Oh God, Telesto. Well, that'll always have a special place in my heart for having the ability to just ruin the game at any given day or time.
I think it really depends. Well, you know, we talk about usage, and I dedicated an entire video to it because most of the fusions for PvP suck.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah, because no. And Merc knows, you know, the 2 most important things on a fusion rifle are firmly planted and tap the trigger. Either or, and when you have them together, you have the unicorn. Trinary system, there are 2 that can have that combination: the Gambit fusion and main ingredient. The Bungie, they, you know, if Witch Queen comes, and a lot of people are grinding for them now and using them now, like, dude, these are pretty good. They've actively taken them off of fusion rifles. Firmly planted, tap the trigger. Exile's Curse, you know, the ones that come out, Iota de Cronus, Plug 1, they don't have those perks, right? And so that means we've gone full season and a half where they've taken the perk away and then not added it to new stuff. And then we see these glimmers of hope, right? Of main ingredient coming back. Everybody got a piece of the tap the trigger roll. Like, okay, this is it. This is it. Now, if Witch Queen comes out and there's an adaptive, there's a precision and aggressive, and they have those perks, we're going to forget about these fusion rifles. 1000%. Because the new stuff is probably going to be paired with some new perks paired with those. So that's how I think about it. Witch Queen comes and these perks are on fusions, they're more than likely going to be better because of the pairing perks. Because hopefully, I mean, I would assume they're going to have new perks. I hope so.
Yeah.
If not, the new fusions with what those 2 perks do, tap the trigger, firmly planted, it's going to be really hard. Just like Iota de Cronus. That's why you don't see those, because they kind of suck for PvP because they don't have that stuff. And it's going to continue. So the option would be, the only one that's kind of like the hard issue is tap the trigger, because it's only on 2 now. They could pull a 180. Remember back in Astral? Remember Astral, what perk was on there? It might have been Quick Draw?
Quick Draw. They took it off.
Yeah, they just took it off. So they could do that. They could do that. Like, hey, it now has Feeding Frenzy. Go have fun. They could do that, right? That's an option for them. So, but that's why people are stuck on those 2, because of those 2 perks.
Firmly planted firmly planted requires an activation. Like you have to do something for it. Even if what you're doing is the easiest thing ever and it's crouching, right? Like that still raises the barrier of use by an infinitesimal amount. Tap the trigger is literally just right. Tap the trigger is literally like, can you shoot the gun?
It's a huge bonus for just firing the weapon, which is the dumbest thing ever.
Can you fire? Here you go. Yeah. Like that's why tap the trigger doesn't need to be on fusion rifles, right? Tap the trigger is great on an auto rifle, where if you want to actually use it, you have to feather the trigger, which most people don't do on auto rifles, right? You know, otherwise it gives you the bonus at the beginning and then it tapers off. But with fusions, because of the way they work, it's just 100% of a bonus all the time. That's not really, like they've talked about, we want you to get benefits, but we want you to build into them or do something to get those benefits. Tap the trigger is the opposite of that. I'm not sure why it came back, because they pretty clearly had made the decision to basically remove it from every other fusion.
Yeah.
And then it comes back and it's a gifted roll from Xur. Like, I think that perk just needs to flat out go away. Keep it on Trinary System or whatever the heck, you know. Keep it on one of those ones that's like, it's impossible you're going to get it, because maybe it will convince people to go play Gambit or go play one of these weird one-off activities to like try to get the perfect roll.
Yeah.
But definitely don't give it away on a 5 out of 5 god roll that's sold at Sir.
Don't be doing that.
The only active perk now is heating up, but you would need a kill on that activation.
Yeah, true.
So maybe the future is firmly planted heating up. That's going to be really good too.
Anyway, be sure to let us know your takes on fusion rifles on Twitter in PvP. Be sure to tag Merc, especially if you have an anime profile picture. We would love to hear from you.
And from how it sounds, tag Drew. Tag Drew as well.
You're already blocked. If you have a shit tier opinion about fusion rifles and you have an anime profile picture, there's a good chance.
There's a pretty strong chance.
Yeah,
but
my block list, dude. Have you ever found that Mega Block like website that you can use?
No.
So when I post one of those bait tweets that like really upsets the anime profile picture gang, inevitably someone will post my stats of like, oh, you've only gone flawless 20 times or some shit like that, and they'll like laugh about it. And inevitably like 200 people will like that, and I wait for that to happen, and then I mega block that one comment, and it will block everyone who liked that comment.
I've never heard of that in my life.
So sometimes I'll have
That's
people
impressive.
message me like, dude, why am I blocked? I've never even talked to you. And it's like, probably because you like some dickhead comment that someone left on my shit, and I mega blocked it. And so my block list is like 1,000 people strong right now.
Jesus Christ.
And like that part of the community might not even exist at this point anymore. Like I'm sure they're super pissed and they probably talk about me in Discord or whatever. But like as far as
Whatever you
I'm concerned, on
post
Twitter, I
next,
hardly ever
man.
see 'em.
God.
Yeah.
Whatever you post next, I'm gonna reply with like your DTR stats. You've only done 20 hero
You've only
nightfalls.
done this.
But look at this
And-
dude's
and-
mid-level
and-
nightfall clearances.
And
Pathetic.
and I just I want to say this real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, the fusion rifle, a lot of people find it so annoying because the Crucible for the past 3 to 5 years has been catered to up in your face, sliding around, jumping around with a shotgun. And the fusion rifle is literal kryptonite to that, right? Because I'm doing a Wastelander review, and on all of my gameplay for it, I mean, I'm running Dunes on Titan, I'm running Steps on Warlock, I'm running Stompies on Hunter, because I'm sliding around with the shotgun and I'm piecing people out. The idea, though, is that, especially with that playstyle, a lot of people get mad, like, oh, you're in the back with a pulse rifle and you have a fusion. Like, dude, because like once you start getting in 15 meters of those, and they know once you're within 15 meter, like they're in your world now and they're screwed. Like you have every piece in your kit to just end them, right? So that's why the fusion rifle is kryptonite. That's why you see pulses, because they're doing everything they can to not be within that range. And as Merc was saying, there's 25 shotguns before a fusion rifle. And I talked about it in the video, like the fusion rifle really is like the unstoppable force meeting that immovable object, right? So I think of it like chess. I love it. And I play all weapons, different play styles. The fusion people, they're hard to deal with, especially when you're accustomed to game after game literally running at people, right? The fusion rifle isn't going to let you do that.
It's why I think, to be totally honest, like I think the meta should probably almost always stay some semblance of hand cannon shotgun. And I say that because hand cannon shotgun players are super predictable and easy to beat with a fusion rifle or any other playstyle that counters hand cannon shotgun. And like what I actually don't want is I actually don't want a fusion rifle meta. Like a full fusion rifle meta would suck to play against. And it's also the reason why I don't really want Stompies nerfed, even though I make fun of Stompies all the time. Stompies players are super predictable, man. Like there's a breed of Destiny player that I could copy and paste them, 6 of them in every game I play. Some of them might be on my team, some of them might be on the other team, but they're the same damn player, dude. Like your name could be a barcode and I wouldn't be able to tell you apart. Dark Shaded Hunters, Stompies, Chaperone, a Palindrome, like you're the same player, man. There's literally millions of you. And you all play the same way. You all do the same things. You all move the same. You all run to the same positions on the map. Like your play style is the same, man. I play against you every single game. And I know exactly how you play, and you're the easiest player for me to beat. And those players are always the players who send me shitty ass hate mail when they get killed by Le Monarch or they get killed by a fusion rifle or something like that, right? And it's like, dude, if you're gonna do what the most common play style in the game is, like you're going to run into off-meta loadouts that beat you. Because people who don't want to do that are going to build stuff that beats the most common thing they run into. And you have to deal with that. And you can't just nerf every off-meta loadout that kills you because it killed you. Like at some point in time, you have to accept that maybe someone's trying a little bit harder than you are to beat the specific strategy you're using. And either you adapt, which people meme on that all the time, but like either you adapt or you're going to continue to lose to those people.
Lorenz is pretty out of control though, there, Merc.
Lorenz has its issues. It has way too much aim assist and it fights through flinch. But I think that's an issue that, snipers have a similar issue. I've said this before. I would nerf the aim assist on every precision weapon in the game, including Lamar. Like, I think snipers, bows, hand cannons, linear fusion rifles, I think they all have way too much aim assist. I would take the bullet bin down on every single one of those guns in a heartbeat if you gave me the controls tomorrow.
For PvP.
Yes, for PvP.
Well,
no, you know what? Screw the Raiders too. They're gonna have to actually hit the shot.
Screw 'em.
I tried to hit the left eye. The gun just hit the top right one.
Well, wouldn't be an episode of Firing Range without ending it on a high note with a Merc rant, which I do appreciate. So about now, good place to end it. Let's go around the table and let everybody know where you can find us when we're not here on the show. Cammy, where can the people find you?
YouTube.com/CammyCakesGaming, Twitch.tv/CammyCakes.
Beautiful. Cool guy. Where can the people find you?
That's going to be Twitter and YouTube, Cool Guy Games, and Twitch is I Am Cool Guy Games.
Nice. Drew, where can the people find you?
Twitch.tv/Drewskis. Most appreciated.
Merc, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter at Mercules904 unless you have shit takes and an anime profile picture, in which case you'll probably find yourself blocked. You can find me on the Destiny Massive Breakdowns podcast. And actually, I'm going to shout out my second podcast because I'm wearing the onesie today.
Yeah.
But Beneath Twin Suns, if you like Star Wars, if you are not a heathen like these other 4 co-hosts that I have, and you enjoy Star Wars, specifically Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, then look for Beneath Twin Suns, which is a Star Wars podcast that I also do, which releases Monday morning. So I don't know how I haven't shouted that out yet, but check this thing out. Look at this.
That's beautiful. I love it. Yeah. It's really
good. Nice, isn't it? It's only time I'm not wearing a tank top, so don't get used to it.
He's like, it's a really big deal.
Yeah. He's sweating too much right now.
You can see how shiny I am, man. This is hot.
You're glistening.
There's a reason I usually free the guns, man. It keeps them
cool. My name is Fallout. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/FalloutPlays and twitch.tv/FalloutPlays. And we appreciate all of you. And we're getting closer and closer to the Witch Queen. Hit us up on YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. Mad love. And we will see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye then.
Merc says, do you have a problem with Cartesian coordinate? Drew wakes up. Yes.
And we're still live on Twitch, but no longer recording. Hey, Watts. 42, I think 42. That was 42. Watts rated at the most comical time because we're literally about to probably just go raid another channel now. We're at the piece. Thanks, Watts.
Right, so who are we going to raid? Shroud?
What? There is some kind of 1v1 tournament going on right now.
There's Evan. Evan F.
Evan F. I like that guy.
I like that guy.
I like that Evan F guy. He's doing a little bounty prep. Yeah, you want to do Evan?
Yeah, do Evan, and we kind of continue that conversation if the chat wants to.
Tight.
What he's doing.
Yeah, sure. Go hang out with Evan. We like that guy. Or you can go watch whoever you want. But fuck it, we're recommending Evan, and you got to deal with it.
Oh, Watts, yes.
You're an adult. If you don't like the channel we pick, go pick another channel.
All the barbecue.
We appreciate all of you. Go say hi to Evan, and later.
GG's chat.
Raid now, and